Hey everyone, can you still hear me?
Yes, indeed.
Great. Hey, I'm Brianna Perry. I'm from Pasco-Hernando State College, and I'm the coordinator of career services for the Spring Hill and Brooksville campuses. I'm going to share some information about an event that we have in the spring and fall called Pizza and a Major. And last spring, 2018, we sort of switched the focus of this event to bring in more of our internship partners. So instead of having, just one particular major that we were focusing on, we've called it Pizza and a Major Internships. And I wanted to share a little bit about the success and details of that event. So to start out, a little bit about PHSC. We have 5 campuses, Spring Hill, Brooksville, Newport Richey, Dade City, and Wesley Chapel, about 11,000 students and about 500 full-time employees. And sorry about this slide. Something must have translated a little bit weird in the version of PowerPoint. But basically, with Pizza and a Major, it's a student event where students come in. In the past, we had focused on one particular major, but as I mentioned, starting last year, we're trying to broaden that by bringing in our internship partners and additional majors beyond just the one. We also bring in PHSC faculty and staff, sometimes other local universities, and of course, starting last year, employers that are also offering internships to students. Our department, and specifically for me as the coordinator of career services for Spring Hill and Brooksville campus, we take the lead on coordinating the event. And but it's not just us. We have a whole team of people here at PHSC that pitches in and helps with this. So the objective of the event, initially the idea is to expose students to a particular major at the college. Previously we had done like pizza and a major nursing, pizza and a major human services, pizza and a major business, and so on, and give those students advice on how to transition from what they're doing in college into the plan for their careers. So again, specifically for last year, we decided to broaden this to bring in some additional employers that had summer internship opportunities. And so this was a collaboration between those employers, our faculty and staff, and career services. And even though if a community member wanted to come to Pizza and a Major, we wouldn't necessarily turn them away. No, we wouldn't turn them away at all. The audience, specifically as PHSC students. And I really, even in the Pizza and a Majors previously that were specific to one major like business, the employers and professors that come in really have advice that's good for students, no matter what major they're going into, how to be professional, what they should be doing while they're still in college and that type of thing. So, we really we really open it up to all students, and they don't have to necessarily be in that particular major in the past or specifically interested in an internship. And the way that this is marketed to students, of course, we work with our marketing department to come up with all of the flyers and emails that we send out to students and so on. So we do have, posters. We have flyers at each of the campuses. We have an announcement that goes through our My PHSC that goes to all students. It's on the TV screens that are around campus, social media, and then another thing that I try to do is go into as many classes as I can, and not only advertise career services right before this event, but also invite them to the event. And that's good because then you get some feedback from students and questions. You can talk about the specific employers that are going to be there. And so also another thing that I've been doing, starting with really this event, was going into some of the club meetings to talk about it as well, because those are really our, our active students on campus. So they're going to help me to spread the word as well. And it's good to get feedback for them as far as making the event better and inviting clubs to also participate, especially in the lobby area. They're real good at drawing in students, and it gives them a chance to also advertise their club, maybe talk about how that could help them with their resume or their future career plans as well. And as I was saying, the Career Services Department takes the lead on this, but Student Life and Leadership provides the money for the pizza, provides the drinks, utensils, plates, all of that. And we really couldn't do that without them, because we're a very small team, and they actually go out and get the pizza, get it all set up, take care of serving the pizza. So it's really a collaboration between our departments as far as that goes. And in addition to student life, as I mentioned, we bring in the student clubs. A lot of times we'll have them at a sign-in table and then additional tables out front. We have to, of course, work with facilities to set up the room. And there are a lot of things that happen during this event that I'll get into that needs a specific room set up. And then we bring in staff members like our academic advisors, some of our department directors, as well as some additional faculty with advice for students. And marketing helps us with creating all of the printed and digital materials for the event. And then we reach out to all of our local employers looking for student interns, and some local universities as well. So you can see in some of the pictures here, basically the first part of the event and the last part of the event, we have everyone sitting at their table to give out information to the students. And although my campuses are Spring Hill and Brooksville, this event is held on all 5 campuses. And starting with this event in particular, we had a common theme across all of the 5 campuses. So we did use Pizza and a Major internships for all 5. And in addition to the tables around the outside of the room, we also have chairs set up in the middle of the room for the panel discussion. That is the middle part of the event. For the Pizza and a Major internships that was held this past spring, we had the Hernando Sheriff's Office, Hernando Chamber of Commerce, Hernando Supervisor of Elections, I-9 Sports, and Career Source. Every single time we have this event, we bring in different employers. Actually, this past week, we had it for 2019. We had Swift Mud, Pasco County Government, Spherion, Dawn Center, Maxim Healthcare, Baycare, U.S. Census, St. Leo, Troy University, plus all of our PHSC staff. So really, it is something that's growing, and sometimes there's different employers that have opportunities depending on the year. So really, the event was so successful in 2018, we decided to repeat it again. This is the first repeat in the spring of 2019. On the staff and faculty side, we have our Assistant Director of Career and Testing, who talks specifically about the internship program, how students can get set up with that. With our internship program, it's open to pretty much all students. We really encourage AA students to take that course as an elective. Most of our AS programs also offer internships, and specifically the Human Services program has a internship practicum that is a requirement, and the paralegal program the same. So we had the Human Services Director and professor in charge of that for Hernando County at the event as well, and of course our academic advisors that can give some more information on how that fits into their schedule, how that fits into their academic plan and any financial aid information. So just really trying to, cover all the bases as far as questions that students could have from our PHSC side. As far as the activities, when students come in, they sign in, they come in and they see all of the tables set up around the room. They can go around and have discussions with any of the employers, instructors, PHSC staff that are set up and get some information from them and ask their questions. And then after that, we have a moderated panel discussion. We invite up all the businesses, and actually this past week when we had the event, again, we had 2 panel discussions, a employer discussion and then a educator panel. So we kind of broke that up because we had so much participation. That was really good this time. But in the past, we've always had the one panel discussion with everyone. And of course, students can get their pizza, have a seat, and listen to the panel discussion. That always seems to bring people in. Not sure how much participation we would get without the pizza, without instructors bringing their classes and that type of thing. So that pizza really seems to be a draw for students. And then we also do a prize giveaway at the end. So any students that go around to the tables and get 5 signatures, they can drop their signature form and survey form into a box to be drawn at the end of the event for a prize for that person. Basically with the agenda as far as that goes, as I said, the very beginning, the 30 minutes, 11 to 11:30, they're walking around visiting those tables. 11:30 to 11:40, grabbing some pizza, finishing those conversations and sitting down. And then we start the panel discussion, which at the very beginning, when I had taken over this event, it was only here one time before I got this position 3.5 years ago. At the very beginning, we used to have a much longer panel discussion, and some of the feedback was that we should make the panel discussion part a little bit shorter and have more time for that one-on-one interaction. So we have usually about 11:40 to 12:15 for that panel discussion. Ask some questions, that I'll go over in a minute here, and then have the students ask questions as well. And then at 12:30, they can pick, anybody that they didn't get a chance to talk to or anybody that they heard from at the panel discussion that they can then walk around and talk to some more, hear about some more opportunities or advice that they have. And then we do that raffle drawing right at the end at 1 p.m. Participants would have put their phone number and their email address on there, so we would be able to call them even if they weren't able to stay for the whole event. And I try to tell the students ahead of time when I go around to the classes, basically, the agenda for the event, and that they don't have to come to the whole thing. I mean, really, if they could stay for the beginning part or the end part, they're still going to get time to interact, plus being able to listen to that panel discussion. But even if a student could only come in for 10 minutes in between classes, that's why I tell them you can come in, take a look at the tables, get some information from those employers, and then head on to your class if you don't have time. But always come in. Okay, the panel discussion runs about 30 to 40 minutes, and generally the questions are, how did you get into your current career? Did you plan to get into this career when you started college? How important do you feel education is versus having that job experience? And sometimes that'll lead into, I know for this one in particular, our internships. Do you look at internships when you consider candidates? Would you recommend students doing an internship? And then, of course, how can students present themselves professionally to employers? So they give tips on, resume writing, interviewing, what they should be doing basically as a student to prepare for for doing those interviews after they graduate. Okay, and then for the participation, I don't know if you can see it on this slide. It's a little jumbled on my screen, but starting in fall of 2016, we usually have about 100 attendees, and now that's between the two campuses, Spring Hill and Brooksville, together. For this internships event, we had our highest attendance by quite a bit, 136 attendees last spring. In the fall of 2018, we went back to one particular major. We used human services, but we did bring in a lot of employers, and of course the human services program has internships as well. And then this spring, this past week, again, we went back to internships and being inclusive of all majors, and we had a really, really good turnout. So I think that, you know, the word is getting around about the event. Students, faculty, staff, everybody is getting kind of used to this event happening in the spring and fall, and that helps to better advertise to students and tell them about what's going on as well. Okay, some of the results from the event. 2 students were offered summer internships at the Supervisor of Elections office here in Hernando. Some students took the information and found their own internship sites over the summer. Had a couple more come to me afterwards and want to fill out the paperwork because they knew where they wanted to intern. And we really encourage that because, you know, we have a list of employers that offer internships, but students are also able to go out and find their own internship and have that count for their internship course. And also, the Hernando Chamber of Commerce was there, and we did have a student do the internship with them in the fall semester. We got great feedback from the students. We collect those survey forms at the end, and they always seem, you know, very excited. In this event in particular, you know, they really enjoyed interacting with everybody and hearing the advice. And I did add a couple of the quotes here that students shared after they did their Hernando Supervisor of Elections internship. This internship has helped me in so many ways, yet the most helpful is that I have firsthand experience with the skill I've been developing over the course of my degree. So such a good response from doing that internship. And then I had a second one here too. I'm learning a lot about candidates, elections, and getting a better base of knowledge in the political field. Plus, I love the people I work with. They're great. I'm so glad I did this. My course so far is at 100%, and I plan on keeping it that high. I'm so thankful. So we really had a good connection there with those students, and promoting the internship program after we posted these quotes on Facebook and shared it with staff and faculty. So hopefully promoting, you know, internships for students in the near future. And I'll also share the survey form, the raffle form. They're attached to each other where the students had to go around and have each of the employers that they talk to sign one of these boxes, and then they would write, you know, any of their comments and feedback. Some of the things that we got as suggestions for the next time would be, you know, having a wider variety of employers, which is sometimes hard because you only have, you know, so much resources and space. But they did want, you know, I think we're on the right track with this, opening it up to all majors, all internship possibilities instead of just focusing on one, because that was something that we had heard pretty consistently. It needs to be more broad. And then they do want, although they love the pizza, some people are not able to eat pizza or have had a lot of pizza, so they would like a wider variety of food options. One thing that I did not provide for this event, I had at some other events, but they did want to have an agenda so that they knew exactly what was going on. You know, sometimes the sign-in table gets busy and they're not able to get that information. They're kind of hesitant to ask someone. So if they haven't been to this event before, that's a good thing to add. And yeah, so basically more employers, I wrote that twice on there, but more employers, you know, and knowing the structure of the event. We also had some instructors this past week I wanted to mention as well that added class assignments. So that was another way where I got some really good feedback because those instructors sent me the feedback that they got from students, and it was, you know, very similar to this, that they just wanted more of everything basically, but that they, again, it's very, very strong positive feedback for this event. So I think it's something that will definitely continue into the future. All right, so questions for me?
Well, thank you, Brianna, for sharing that exciting outreach idea.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
And once again, as always, if you have any questions or feedback for Brianna, please type in the chat box or raise your hand if you're still typing. It's down at the bottom of your screen here. Stick around if you could be patient. We are going to do a door prize drawing for anybody who managed to make it all the way to the end of the virtual conference. I'll be giving away a package of advanced reader copies and vendor swag and whatever else I can find in my office here.